Disgraced music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is facing more scrutiny. Federal prosecutors have accused Combs of witness tampering.
They allege that he has been trying to improperly contact victims, witnesses, and other people.
The prosecution telling the judge about attempts they say the rap mogul made from behind bars.
P. Diddy ringing in the new year with a jailhouse meltdown,
Accusing them of not only allegedly targeting their client in an unconstitutional raid of his cell,
as Sean Combs files a $50 million lawsuit.
Shaw Diddy Combs' legal troubles have escalated dramatically, with federal prosecutors accusing him of witness tampering while in custody, allegedly using unauthorized phone calls, secret messaging services, and prison phone privileges. These all paint a picture of a powerful figure desperate to control the narrative. These accusations come on top of severe charges, including trafficking and racketeering, further replicating his fight for bail. These new claims could shatter his hopes for bail and deepen his legal troubles as his legal team battles to challenge the prosecution's claims. New victims continue to step forward with disturbing allegations, with a high-stakes trial set for May 2025. The case is shaping up to be one of the biggest celebrity scandals in years, as the once untouchable music mogul finds himself at the center of a scandal that could redefine justice for the rich and powerful.
Disgraced music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is facing more scrutiny. Federal prosecutors have accused Combs of witness tampering from behind bars. He's in jail. The prosecution filed another motion on Friday urging the judge to not grant bail to the hip-hop star. They say he deployed a, quote, relentless effort to contact potential witnesses, including victims of his abuse, who could provide powerful testimony against him. He's doing that, again, from behind bars. Now, for context, Combs was arrested, charged in September with trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution.
Shaw Diddy Combs' legal battle has taken another dramatic turn, with prosecutors accusing him of witness tampering while in federal custody, according to court filings. He has allegedly used multiple methods, including three-way calls and unauthorized message services, to contact potential witnesses and victims. These actions, prosecutors argue, highlight his ongoing influence and potential threat to the judicial process.
The prosecution telling the judge about attempts they say the rap mogul made from behind bars to influence everyone from potential jury to alleged victims.
Who's the boss? Dudes is lost. Don't think cause I'm iced out, I'ma cool off.
This morning, prosecutors leveling new accusations against Sean Diddy Combs, saying he poses a serious risk of danger even from behind bars as he awaits trial. In a court filing late Friday, prosecutors detailing the steps they say Combs is taking while locked up to reach out to prospective witnesses and influence public opinion to affect potential jurors.
The accusations within the prosecution's motion to deny bail are very serious and will be considered very heavily by the judge, because the judge is going to want to ensure that he is not influencing witnesses and or contacting anyone to influence the trial in any way.
Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges of racketeering, transportation to engage in prostitution, and sex trafficking. He denies any wrongdoing.
Another method allegedly used to reach outside contacts was through three-way calls. The prosecutor states that he directed his associates and family members to arrange conversations with individuals not on his approved contact list. This tactic, they argue, allowed him to exert control over witnesses even while being detained at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn.
Prosecutors pointing to recorded phone calls from jail. They said Combs asked family members to reach out to potential victims and witnesses, urging them to create narratives to influence a jury pool. Allegations that could land Combs in even more trouble.
Diddy's jail calls can be used at trial if they are able to support the prosecution's case in chief. They can also provide grounds for additional criminal charges to be filed against him.
All of this while a Hulu documentary is set to be released Monday.
His name is Shine. Kid is nice.
Called The Honorable Shine, about a young rapper who says he took the rap for a nightclub shooting involving Combs and then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez.
Puffy got acquitted and he got 10 years.
He was betrayed. I was absolutely set up to be the fall guy.
Moses Shine Levy Barrow, now running for president of Belize, says he was betrayed by Combs.
One of the key allegations is that Combs exploited prison phone privileges by using other inmates' phone access codes, known as PAC numbers. By doing so, he allegedly circumvented official monitoring systems and was able to make unauthorized calls. Prosecutors claim that these calls were intended to intimidate or manipulate witnesses, further justifying their opposition to his bail request.
Using other inmates' phone access codes, those are known as PAC numbers, to contact several people from behind bars, including his sons. He's also accused of making three-way calls to get a hold of people and using a third-party service called Contact Me ASAP to contact unauthorized individuals, presumably ASAP. Though much of the prosecutor's claims have been redacted from the court filing, they claim clear interference with the intent to blackmail victims and witnesses into staying quiet. Combs's defense insists the prosecution's case is thin and the mogul should be released from jail and put under home detention with 24/7 monitoring, plus, quote, near total restrictions on Combs's ability to contact anyone aside from his defense.
In addition to phone calls, he is accused of using a third-party messaging service called Contact Me. ASAP court documents suggest that he exchanged hundreds of messages through this service, potentially obscuring his communications with attorneys, family members, and other key individuals. Prosecutors contend that these actions violate detention center regulations and demonstrate his continued efforts to influence the case from behind bars.
Here was Diddy telling Conan O'Brien about his, quote, freakouts back in 2002.
Okay, now, we need alcohols.
Right.
Alcohols.
Right. Not just one alcohol.
Alcohols.
Right, just different blend. You need the ladies, you need the booze.
You need some water.
For watering plants?
No, I don't know if guys have noticed this, like a lot of ladies drink water at parties. They just, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but rock with me, but just check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
No.
Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Builds up a nice little sweat.
That just sounds disgusting. What are you doing?
No. Depends on the way you look at it.
Depends. Oh, people start gets kind of see. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
We're not laughing now.
Federal prosecutors are now using these allegations as a basis to deny Comey's latest bail request. His legal team proposed a $50 million bail package complete with house arrest and no internet access, but the government argues that his ability to tamper with witnesses while incarcerated proves that he remains a risk. They claim that even if released under strict conditions, Comey could still use his vast resources to manipulate the legal process.
Okay, so there are bombshells after bombshells in the government's new filing in the Sean Diddy Combs case. Trafficking, racketeering, prostitution case. I don't need to repeat all the allegations. You know what they all are by now. But prosecutors from the Southern District of New York submitted an opposition brief to Sean Combs' motion for bail that they are hoping that this new judge, in this case, Judge Arun Subramanian, will hear. And as we're going to lay out, prosecutors say not only is Sean Combs not entitled to bail, but essentially he shouldn't even get a hearing on this. And remember, Combs is currently in detention at the Metropolitan Detention Center out in Brooklyn, New York, after being denied bail by other judges. The main issues keeping him locked away are that the courts have held that the prosecutors have shown that he is a danger on the outside, he's a potential flight risk. Most notably was evidence put forward that he had been improperly contacting victims and witnesses in this case. And as we discussed on previous sidebars, Sean Combs' counsel has denied all this. They've indicated that all of those conversations were not done with the intent to engage in witness tampering or obstruction. And even, at least they say, one witness had contacted Combs, not the other way around. Well, the government has come out with new evidence of its own to justify pretrial detention. And now, let me just read you this from the beginning of their brief. They say, while attempting to evade law enforcement monitoring, the defendant has, among other things, orchestrated social media campaigns that are, in his own words, aimed at tainting the jury pool, made efforts to publicly leak materials he views as helpful to his case, and contacted witnesses through third parties.
Holmes's defense team has strongly refuted these claims, calling them exaggerated and misleading. Attorney Bradford Cohen has argued that using third-party calls and outside contacts is common among inmates and does not necessarily indicate wrongdoing. He also questioned the credibility of the prosecution's evidence, stating that no clear proof of direct threats or blackmail has been presented.
This happens all the time in like every single case. They only make a big deal about it in this case. So the third-party calling, when I can tell you in my 30 years, 28 years of practice, third-party calling has been done in probably 90% of the cases that I have. In fact, sometimes third-party calling to me. So what they would do is they'd get one of their friends on the line, and then that friend would then third-party me in. And I always have to tell them, hey, this is an attorney-client privilege. You got a third party on the line. And when you have a third party on the line, anything we say is not attorney-client privilege.
The accusations of witness tampering add another layer of legal challenges to Combs' case, which already includes charges of trafficking, racketeering, and coercion. The federal investigation launched in September 2024 has uncovered allegations spanning decades, with multiple victims coming forward to accuse Combs of orchestrating exploitative events. Some of these claims involve minors at the time of the alleged incidents, making the case even more severe.
Trial currently scheduled for May 5th, 2025. Now, so much of this case has been in the shadows, right? And that we don't know exactly what the evidence is per se, who the witnesses will be, the identity of the alleged victims, all of the key events, times, locations. We may get more information in the months and the weeks leading up to the trial, but right now, we got something big we got to talk about. So Sean Combs' attorneys have filed a letter, filed it yesterday, we're talking about it today, where they are asking the court to order the government to electronically produce some very key evidence in this case. What? The videos of the freak-offs. You remember what these are? The prosecutors allege that Combs would intimidate, threaten, and lure women into extended sex acts with male sex workers using force, threats, or coercion. The freak-offs that Combs filmed and recorded these freak-offs. Well, the reason the defense wants this electronically produced, the reason they want copies of this, and they need the court to step in, is because under the current protective order that has been put forward in this case regarding how evidence will be viewed and disseminated, the video evidence is available for inspection only.
As the trial date approaches, media attention has intensified, with documentaries and investigative reports shedding light on both the allegations and Combs' past controversies. One such documentary features the testimony of a Michigan inmate who claims that Combs assaulted him in the 1990s. This case, which was initially dismissed, has now been restated, adding further scrutiny to Combs' history.
A Michigan inmate has been awarded $100 million in his civil lawsuit against infamous music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The judgment was issued to 51-year-old Derek Lee Cardello Smith yesterday. He accuses Diddy of drugging and actually assaulting him at a party in Detroit back in 1997. Combs did not appear for the hearing in that case yesterday. The judge made a default judgment and also issued a temporary restraining order against Combs. Cardello Smith is currently serving time in Muskegon Heights for an unrelated conviction, and some are calling this the largest judgment awarded to a current inmate in state history. Now, Diddy's attorney is responding to our request for comment, writing in part, Mr. Combs has never heard of him, let alone been served with any lawsuit. Mr. Combs looks forward to having this judgment swiftly dismissed.
In the latest legal battle, his attorneys have accused federal prosecutors of violating his constitutional rights during a search of his jail cell. His legal team claims that investigators unlawfully accessed and photographed privileged legal notes during an October 2024 contraband site. They argue that this action compromised his defense and are demanding a full hearing on the matter.
A new big development around the Diddy as we're following this case very closely here on Live Now from Fox, as Diddy's lawyers say the feds raided his jail cell and seized a bunch of privileged material. So an interesting one, to say the least, about this. I want to put up some posts here from former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani about this, saying Diddy's lawyers are claiming that it violates his Fourth Amendment right. However, inmates don't have Fourth Amendment expectation of privacy in prison, so that argument is weak. Guards can search his cell without probable cause or a warrant. So a big development there in terms of this. Privileged material, different. The feds usually have a taint or dirty team of agents who aren't working on the case to conduct these searches. That way, if they see privileged materials, the clean team won't be disqualified from the case. It goes on to say as well, the prosecutors have reason to believe Diddy is obstructing justice from the prison by contacting witnesses through intermediaries. They made the same argument during his bail hearing. I think they have evidence to back it up. All right, as we continue on, witness tampering also falls under the crime fraud exemption to attorney-client privilege.
Prosecutors, however, have dismissed these accusations, stating that the search was routine and unrelated to Combs' case. They insist that any privileged materials were handled by a separate filter team to ensure attorney-client confidentiality was not breached. The judge has yet to rule on whether a hearing will be granted, but if the defense's claims hold merit, it could impact the prosecution's case.